Hey guys, in last night's poll on Facebook, I asked you all which video you'd like for me to do next, and over 95% of you voted for this one. So, without further ado, let's get to it. What if Obi Wan brought Anakin back from the dark side in Revenge of the Sith? At first, I thought this would be a tough one to cover, seeing as how Anakin literally did the unthinkable and slaughtered all the Jedi at the temple, including the younglings. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that this actually could have happened, and it's not as far-fetched as one would think. During their battle on Mustafar, right before Anakin got cut into half by Obi Wan on the high ground, there was a pause while they both battled on the lava levitating pods. I want you to pay close attention to this scene that I'm about to show you, specifically right after Anakin tells Obi Wan that from his point of view the Jedi are evil.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil!
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are lost!
You can see Obi-Wan had two options here. He could either give in to his frustration of Anakin having turned and continue the storyline to where it is today, or if he had truly used his Jedi training of persuasion and patience, much like Qui Gon would have done if he were Obi-Wan in this situation, and continued his explanation of why Palpatine is evil, explaining to Anakin that he merely uses powerful fallen Jedi like Dooku or bred assassins like Maul to do his bidding, and when he's done with them, casts them aside like garbage and moves on to the next, explaining to Anakin how he has manipulated his mind to think he needs him and his teachings. He would then ask Anakin why he is doing this. What has the Chancellor said that could persuade him to do this? Anakin would most likely reply, as he had already stopped fighting Obi-Wan and started a dialogue with him. It doesn't matter what he was saying, but rather the fact that he was actually saying anything to him at all, and not continuing to try to cut his head off. This was a pivotal moment in the timeline that if Obi-Wan used to his advantage to have at the very least tried one last time to convince Anakin that Palpatine was evil, he may very well have caused the slightest shift within him. At this point, Anakin was like a moldable clay. He had taken the shape and form of a Sith Lord, however, he could still be brought back. Padme was still alive by the ship, and he had just moments before been crying about everything he had just committed. Now Darth Maul wouldn't have cried. He would have been impatient to find the next youngling to kill. Anakin had remorse, he had guilt, and he was suffering internally for it. Just as he had carried this conflict within him until the end of Episode 6 with Luke's aid, he could have been turned here and now. Being hit with the logic that he knew deep down was true, Anakin would look down and analyze the situation. Obi-Wan, seeing his process of confusion, would shut down his lightsaber and hold it in front of him just in case Anakin were to pull a fast one. Anakin would not move. As the pods moved down the river, now passing the point of the high ground that Obi-Wan jumped on earlier in the original timeline, he would eventually turn his lightsaber off as they would near a cliff of pouring lava. Obi-Wan telling him to jump to land, Anakin leapt onto the close surface as the robots floated off the cliff and into the hot lava below, melting into liquid. Obi-Wan would speak.
Anakin, you are like a brother to me. This is not you. You are not this evil. Remember your mother. She would not want you to turn to this. Neither would Qui Gon.
Obi-Wan was now using every heartstring he could pull on to get Anakin to come to his senses.
Look at what the Chancellor has made you to do. You've killed Master Windu, betrayed the Jedi at the temple, and slaughtered innocent children. Anakin, who have you become? Palpatine is a master of evil and manipulation. You could have even killed Padme.
Anakin struck a hard stare at Obi-Wan, his lips trembling.
I don't know what to do, Master. I don't know who I am anymore.
Obi-Wan turned Anakin's gaze from the lava erupting from afar to his face. Both covered in sweat and burnt char marks, he said,
Anakin, you are the same boy who won the pod races. The same boy who gave faith to Qui Gon in his last breath, and the same man who taught me as much as I taught him. Anakin, it's not too late. It's never too late. Don't continue down this wrong path. Come back with me to Coruscant. Let's find the others who survived and put things slowly back to where they should be.
Anakin looked back at Obi-Wan with tears streaming down his cheeks. He wanted nothing more than to go back. He could see what the Emperor had turned him into, the evil he had brought out of Anakin, and all because he needed his powers for his own master plan. Upon their walk back to the ship, Anakin saw Padme laying unconscious where he had left her. Running to her, he put his hand on her forehead, bringing her back to consciousness. As she opened her eyes to see her husband, they smiled at one another with tears flowing down their cheeks. Everything seemed right again. With work and effort, things could maybe return. Either way, it didn't matter to him. All that mattered was Padme was alive, and he could feel that he made the right choice. Looking at Obi Wan, they both smiled at one another as Anakin reached out to touch his shoulder when he saw him fly 50 feet behind him into a boulder as he withered on the floor in agony, blue and purple spider-like webs of electricity sparking over his limbs.
Stupid boy, I gave you one chance, and this is how you repay me.
Anakin looked up as he saw Palpatine's electrostatic fingers buzzing, ready to strike again as 4 clone troopers guarded his sides. He could see his hands directed at Padme, his eyes filling with rage. Turning orange and yellow, he stood in front of her, waving his hand. The clone troopers all grabbed their throats as he crushed their windpipes. He knew the powers of the Force now proved to be worthy of his expectations. Staring at the Emperor's soulless eyes as if he looked into a black hole, emptiness surrounded them. As erupting lava could be heard from afar, the wind blew through Anakin's sweat-drenched hair, and the Emperor's cloak swaying parallel in the wind. The universe stood still, waiting on the next move. I hope you all enjoyed part 1 of this series, and I hope you didn't laugh too much at my English impersonation. Please write me part 2 in the comments below, and the top winners, if I choose more than one, depending on how much I like your endings, will get another comic sent out to them, just like in the last fanfiction video. If you support the channel, do me a favor and share this video on social media. That would help the channel out a lot. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments below. Have a great day or night, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, and remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
Fulfill your destiny.